Chapter 23, The Beaumont's birthday party started at 9 o'clock in the evening. The spacious lawn next to the building had been set up early for the party. The tables were light blue, the buffet was turquoise, and the large circular dance floor was on the green grass. On the square white stage, on one side was a band playing soft, cheerful music, on the other side were a small mountain of small and large gift boxes that the partygoers had given them. Behind the stage was a huge LED screen, scrolling through e-cards wishing Serafina and Theodore a happy birthday, sometimes even congratulatory videos from acquaintances or strangers. Most of them were Theodore's acquaintances, but they all said Serafina, Theodore happy birthday. Serafina was very happy to hear that. She wore a white silk dress she had just bought, her hair was beautifully tied up, like a princess, attracting all eyes. Everyone secretly admired. The eldest daughter of the Beaumont family truly had a natural demeanor. Vivian arrived right when the party started, and as soon as she arrived, she intimately held her hand and apologized. "I'm sorry, I can't go shopping with you today, but don't worry, I prepared 2 special birthday gifts for you, you'll definitely be very happy." After saying that, she handed the gift to the waiter, and on the other hand, she was mysteriously proud, shaking something that looked like a bell. Serafina couldn't see clearly, and wasn't interested. She slightly raised her eyes, and saw that Andrew and Emma had also arrived. She tried to escape Vivian's chattering, and went to greet Emma. "I thought you were busy and couldn't come. It's your birthday party, of course I have to come to cheer you on." Emma held her arm tightly, as if giving her strength. "Serafina, tonight, you are the main character." She nodded. Andrew also smiled and praised her. "Serafina, you look beautiful today." She smiled and teased, "You dare say that in front of your wife?" He shrugged, pointing at his wife. "She told me to say that." Emma kicked some idiot, but the other person happily endured it. They were truly a happy couple, just looking at them made her feel touched. She laughed and said, "That's right, Harrison is here too, he's over there." She was very worried that someone would not be able to integrate and would run away in the middle of the journey. Fortunately, Andrew and Emma had arrived, so she let these 2 people talk to him. Several times in the rush, she had also run into her younger brother, but he had to greet many guests and friends, and he was busier than her, and had no time to chat with her. But it was clear that this cold-hearted boy did not have any bad attitude towards her anymore. She smiled, it was the same in her previous life. They argued loudly and then got along. Just like this time, the resentment and suffocation between the 2 of them, just by looking at each other and smiling, would disappear into thin air. Who could be closer than them? Since he had known that both branches of the Kensington family would be attending, Theodore wasn't surprised when he saw Hannah, William, and David show up. It was just that his mood was different. William and Hannah were just going through the motions. Both of them really disliked Serafina, so they just said happy birthday in a mechanical tone, then handed the gifts to the waiter and went to find their friends at the party. Before leaving, Hannah gave Serafina a very strange look, as if smiling, but also as if glaring. Serafina didn't have the heart to care about her, but she was a little flustered when she saw David chasing after her. This was the first time she met him. He was still exactly like in her impression. His expression was extremely cold. But because of a conversation in her previous life, she knew that he was very warm inside. He was wearing a well-tailored suit, exuding an outstanding temperament. He looked at her, politely bowed his head slightly, his voice was low, without any emotion. "Miss Serafina, first of all, I wish you a happy birthday." She personally took the gift from his hand, paused for a moment before handing it to the waiter, smiling, "Thank you. Thank you for coming." His eyes remained motionless, calmly looking at her, his tone still cold. "You are very beautiful today." She was momentarily stunned, shyly brushing the messy hair that was messed up by the night wind from her temples, and softly said, "Thank you." David nodded discreetly and moderately in response before walking into the middle of the lawn. Her cheeks flushed, her heart pounded for a long time, and finally she couldn't hold it in any longer, and turned her head to look. As expected, David was walking towards Harrison and Andrew. But when she saw Emma, she suddenly realized something. Was it Emma who told them to say that? She took a deep breath and smiled slightly. Tonight was really going to be great. But before the faint smile on her lips could fully bloom, she saw Lily. The pink V-neck dress, with a very reasonable design, accentuated her S-shaped body, making her look like a pink mermaid. The people around her were all laughing and wishing her a happy birthday. Lily naturally accepted the wishes, as if this was her birthday party. Lily had just moved out of the Beaumont family not long ago, and she was not a legitimate daughter, so Winston was hesitant to make a big fuss about organizing a birthday party for her, let alone inviting people from other families to attend. Serafina silently narrowed her eyes. She didn't invite her, so who did? She looked at the crowd. Olivia was greeting the guests, Theodore was talking to his friend. She called her younger brother aside and asked, "Did you invite Lily?" "She came?" He was stunned, glancing at the crowd. She immediately knew it wasn't him. He saw Lily, embarrassedly telling her, "Forget it, she's here, can't chase her away. Not to mention, in a few hours it'll be her." He looked at her, eyes gradually darkening, not saying the word birthday anymore. He was silent for a while, helplessly sighing, "I don't understand why you keep making things difficult for her like this. But she's been my older sister for 18 years, the previous feelings can't be said to not exist. If you do this, I'm really in a difficult position." How could she not know this? She picked up a glass of champagne and drank it all in one gulp. She couldn't continue like this. Lily's true face hadn't been seen clearly for a day, so her position would always be passive. The 18 years of family affection couldn't be separated easily. If she directly clashed with Lily, it would only make Theodore and her mother side with Lily even more. But Lily was very good at putting on airs. She couldn't find any loopholes. If she hadn't suffered so much in her previous life and ended up like this, she would still think that even though Lily hated her, she still had feelings for her younger brother and mother, but what was the result? She was the kind of girl who could trample anyone under her feet to achieve her goals. This kind of girl is not worthy of anyone's love, but she has the trust of so many people. She put down her champagne glass, glanced at Vivian who was smiling brightly beside Lily. They had been cousins since childhood, and were close friends, and now they lived in the same house. If they could make Vivian stand against Lily, then that would be great. Theodore saw her absent-minded, looking very uneasy, so he gently held her hand. Only then did she come back to her senses. He gently changed the subject. "That's right, did you buy me a gift?" She shook her head, "No." He couldn't believe it, almost going crazy again. How could there be someone like you? You make me buy you a present but you don't buy me a present? What a shameless person. She looked at him intently, suddenly came forward, wrapped her arms around his waist, and hugged him. He was stunned, still not moving. The lingering scent of her hair was very pleasant, the cool night wind blew through her hair, making it tickle his face. He suddenly felt warm inside, both strange and familiar, as if at this moment, he could also feel the joy in her heart. At first, he was a bit embarrassed, there were so many people around, there were so many classmates looking this way, he was so embarrassed. But in the end, he didn't push her away, letting her hug him like that. But she felt so tender that tears welled up in her eyes. This was the first time she had hugged him while he was still alive. In her previous life, the first time she had hugged him was when she collapsed on his cold, stiff body and cried loudly. In this life, she had finally found a good opportunity. His body was still warm, his heart was still beating strongly. "Dear little brother, you're still alive, that's great." A few seconds later, she let him go, smiling brightly at him, her eyes curved like crescent moons. He blushed, grumbling, "You're so big and yet you suddenly hug someone, don't you feel ashamed?" She smirked, looking as cunning as a fox. "This is my birthday present for you." He was speechless, his jaw almost falling to the ground. "I chose a proper gift for you, and you did this to cheat me out of it?" She chuckled. He immediately turned pale and glared at her. At this moment, not far away, Emma called out to her, "Serafina." She turned her head and saw that everyone sitting at the table was someone she knew. Emma waved at her, "Come over and play a game?" She waved at Theodore and walked over. After walking a few steps, she heard him call out again, "Serafina." She turned back. "What?" He smiled a little shyly, his eyes sparkling. You look beautiful today. She felt warm, smiled, and turned away first. Emma pulled the chair next to her, and as a result, Serafina sat between Emma and Harrison. From left to right were Emma, Andrew, David, Lily, William, Vivian, Hannah, Harrison, Serafina. She had just sat down when she heard Emma tease, "The twins are different, so close, just now seeing the two of you hugging each other. I think the Beaumont family is really happy to have such a beautiful pair of nephews and nieces." She smiled, slightly raised her eyes, and saw that Lily didn't seem happy. Obviously, she also saw what she had just done. Emma had just given birth to twins, a boy and a girl, so as soon as she finished speaking, Serafina and Harrison asked almost in unison, "You're talking about you, right?" The two looked at each other, momentarily silent. Emma smiled, "Wow. What a match, huh?"